Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that an entire empire had simply disappeared. Cities that once echoed with the noise of markets and marching armies suddenly stood silent. Massive stone temples remained untouched. Palaces still towered over empty streets. But the people, the rulers, the soldiers, the farmers, the merchants were gone. No signs of massive battles, no records of a final catastrophic war, no clear explanation for why millions of people abandoned one of the most powerful civilizations of its time. For centuries, historians have puzzled over this strange historical mystery. How could a vast and sophisticated empire vanish so quickly that it seemed to later generations as if it had disappeared overnight? The ruins remain scattered across dense forests and forgotten valleys, silent witnesses to a dramatic collapse that still raises one haunting question. What could possibly cause an empire to disappear almost instantly? At its height, this civilization was a marvel of the ancient world. Its cities were carefully planned with grand plazas, towering temples, and complex road networks connecting distant regions. Skilled engineers built canals, reservoirs, and agricultural systems capable of feeding enormous populations. Trade routes stretched across hundreds of miles, carrying jade, obsidian, precious metals, and exotic goods between thriving cities. Scholars studied astronomy and mathematics. Priests observed the movements of the stars and recorded history in intricate symbols carved into stone. For generations, historians believed the empire declined slowly, perhaps weakened by political struggles or gradual economic problems. According to early theories, the fall of civilization was a long and steady decline, stretching across centuries. But recent discoveries have begun to challenge that idea, because evidence found deep within abandoned cities suggests something far more sudden and far more mysterious. Archaeologists working in remote ruins began noticing something unusual. Entire districts appeared to have been abandoned almost simultaneously. Cooking tools were still left inside homes. Ceremonial objects remained inside temples. In some places, partially completed construction projects were simply left unfinished, as if workers had vanished in the middle of their tasks. Even more surprising, many of the city's massive buildings showed no signs of destruction. They were not burned, toppled, or violently destroyed. Instead, the city seemed to have been carefully but rapidly deserted. Recent studies using satellite mapping and climate data revealed clues hidden beneath layers of soil and forest. Evidence suggested that the region experienced an intense period of environmental stress. Years of severe drought may have struck the heart of the empire, devastating agriculture and water supplies. As crops failed and reservoirs dried up, populations may have faced an unimaginable crisis. But drought alone may not tell the whole story. Some researchers believe political instability and internal conflict could have made the situation even worse. Rival city-states may have turned against each other, fracturing the empire from within. Suddenly, what once seemed like a gradual decline began to look more like a rapid and chaotic collapse. A domino effect where one crisis triggered another, until the empire could no longer survive. But here's the part that still fascinates historians. Even if drought and conflict played a role, why were the cities abandoned so quickly? Why didn't populations slowly relocate while maintaining their political systems?
Why sacred temples, royal courts, and monumental buildings left behind almost untouched? Some theories suggest that religious beliefs may have shaped the decision. If rulers were believed to control the balance between gods and nature, devastating droughts might have shattered public faith in leadership. Others propose that once the fragile system collapsed, people simply scattered, migrating to smaller communities where survival was easier. Yet no written record clearly describes the final moments of the empire. No single event explains it all. Instead, the disappearance remains a puzzle made of many pieces: environmental disaster, political instability, and social upheaval colliding at the worst possible moment. And together, they may have caused one of history's most dramatic collapses. Today, the jungle slowly reclaims the abandoned cities. Stone temples rise above thick vegetation, their carvings weathered by centuries of wind and rain. Ancient roads lie hidden beneath layers of earth, once used by millions of people whose lives are now lost to history. But the story of this vanished empire reminds us of something remarkable. Even the greatest civilizations can be fragile. Power, wealth, and knowledge do not guarantee permanence. And somewhere beneath the forests, deserts, and oceans of our planet, countless mysteries like this one are still waiting to be uncovered. Because history is not just a record of the past, it is a vast puzzle, and many of its most important pieces are still missing.